compete on the world stage while seeking to succeed effectively locally. This has been the challenge and also one of the successes of the University of the West Indies Press. But it's a model that has to be stretched across all publishing in our society. Some artists did not make it outside of Jamaica, and others did not make it in Jamaica, even as they succeeded abroad. But what was rarely in question was the desire for innovation, creativity, and excellence among the best of these artists. So which brings me to the next chapter of my little talk, which is self-publishing. You hear a lot of talk about self-publishing. Everybody wants to get self-published. You've got $3,000, you can self-publish. Anybody can do it. Well, I've heard it said that the new excitement in Caribbean publishing is the advent of the self-publishing phenomenon, the vanity press revolution. It has been said that this is ensuring that books are published and that the range and scope of these books is remarkable and important. It is said that now anyone can have a book, and this excitement, this new frontier of publishing is breathing new life into books and reading. Perhaps. But I think that those who think that this phenomena is a fit replacement of the traditional publishing system are mistaken. They are mistaken because they do not understand the importance of the editor. They do not understand what it means to have proofreaders wrestle for extended periods about the relative merits of using a semicolon or a comma. They do not understand just how much editors sharpen work to produce work of the highest literary standards. They underestimate the importance of setting high standards of artistic merit in the production of books. If we think that our future in publishing lies in self-publishing, then they have accepted the arrogance and hubris of people about what they know and how much they can control the world simply by having the money to do so. I really think it's a problem. Right? It's, publishing is a very vain exercise, You write something and then you say, let's do 3,000 of those so that the world can see it. I am that important. But you decide that you are that important. That's the height of arrogance. So we must accept that. But at least in a context of traditional publishing, somebody can say to you, you're not doing that well as you think you are. At least somebody can come back to you and check you to make sure that what you're putting out is of a high standard. I adore editors. They are like, I love them. Oh yeah. Editors. Anyway, don't let me start. I really, really, really respect them. We need editors in the Caribbean. We need editors, good editors in the Caribbean. We need skilled, brilliant, engaged, and committed editors who understand language and understand topics and know how to make work shine. We need editors who will challenge writers, question what they're saying, and pushing them to say it well. We need editors, copy editors, proofreaders, teams of designers, publicists, and other thinkers looking at the work as something that has to be treated with care, respect, and intelligence. No self-publishing phenomena is going to substitute for this. In the Caribbean, we cannot afford to lose the conventional publishing model. We can't afford it in the newspapers. If you see problems in a newspaper, it's the editors. It's not the writers. Problem right now in our publishing, in our newspapers, is that the writers are trying to edit themselves and are failing woefully on it, but it's not their fault. They should have an editor who says, no, go back and fix this. I'm just saying. It's all about the money. That's the next chapter. In light of what is at stake in this business of preserving, challenging, and advancing our cultural assets, the peculiar insistence that all publishing has to prove itself to be self-sustaining economically is obscene. No doubt there is money to be made in publishing, and sometimes the pressure to think of ways to sustain publishing economically can generate brilliant innovation and imaginative efforts that, when all is said and done, can advance the very crucial goals of a publishing entity. So publishers do publish work so that others can read that work. This is true. The more people who read the work, the happier the publisher is, because that is what the publisher wants to do, to get people to read work that it values as important. But sometimes publishing is not about accumulating great numbers of readers. Sometimes publishing is about preserving the work of our thinkers and artists, not just for this generation, but for generations to come. Sometimes publishing is about reaching a small readership with work that is important. And we cannot assume that the market will always determine value. This is a foolish approach, and even the most market-defined cultures do not necessarily hold to this idea. Instead, they have constructed a new kind of economy of value. They have found ways to monetize, if you will, the whole idea of philanthropy, for example. They have found ways to turn the small independent project into something that has cultural capital and influence that is not as easily calculable in terms of money. There is a crude and juvenile attitude to the arts among so many of our powerful and wealthy in this country that is depressing. There is not enough imagination to see that even when the cash is not flowing in, something extremely valuable is happening. What I'm saying is that every effort must be made to try to protect the principle that sometimes publishing is first and foremost about the knowledge it preserves and distributes, and that may have to be at the expense of economic gain. Embrace the technology. For all my talk about conventional and traditional publishing, I should say that our contemporary publishing landscape is a dynamic and exciting new one, and one that we should embrace. In many ways, the advent of the e-book and the iBook, along with the reduced cost of production and publishing, offer great opportunities for publishers. And one of the areas that the Caribbean could lead in is in innovative publishing approaches. We must first recognize that the e-book is not a replacement book, nor is it a pretend book. It is a whole thing in and of itself. It's distinct from the other book. It's a different thing. There are things it cannot do that a book will do, and there are things that it can do that a book can never do. Rather than treat this innovative way of presenting information as daunting and something that is going to force us to enter an area that will be too challenging, we should embrace the challenge and start to think in multifaceted ways. The opportunities to create depth, dimension, intertextuality in the publishing world increase when we start thinking of the e-book. In so many ways, when an organization like a university press begins to bring its expertise in conventional publishing to bear on this new and exciting area of publishing, the result could be work of startling possibilities. And I actually think that these innovations will expand readership and enhance the opportunity for the publisher to attract the best writers and thinkers. So finally, things can be lost. Things can be lost. These last few days, I have been trying to do some necessary research on my family. I won't give you the reasons why, but after I'm done, then you probably will find out. It's a funny story, but I can't afford to tell it now. I've been struck by just how much I'm depending on published accounts of the lives of people on this island over a century ago to build a portrait and narrative of my family. Without these, they could be lost to me. Here's an obvious but often forgotten truth. Things can be lost. It is a truth that anyone who has worked in archives, in research, in libraries knows. Things can be lost forever. When I discovered that only one, as far as I've been told, one single taping of Ring Ding exists, I was appalled. Our radio and television stations routinely taped over the recordings of other shows to save money. For them, these were not moments to be preserved. They were disposable. We have lost so much because of this, and there's no way for us to retrieve any of this. There are plays we will never find. There are manuscripts of poems we'll never be able to read. In many ways, if we do not have the dogged commitment to retaining our culture, we will find ourselves living on fumes, as they say. I believe the future is an exciting one. But whatever promise there is of a thriving publishing enterprise in our region will rely on a dogged commitment to the model of service that is not predicated on the values of the marketplace, but on the values that enshrine the preservation of knowledge for the present and future generations. So I thank you for your patience in listening to me. I congratulate those authors who have won awards. These books that I'm looking at up there and that I've seen in my mailbox are beautiful and stunning books. And the press is very impressive. But there's a long way to go. And there's much, much more work to do. And I hope we'll see a great, great, great naissance of Caribbean publishing in the years to come. Thank you very much.
Like only Kwame Dawes can. Thank you so much for making us think about the things that you have shared with us this evening and reminding us that things can be lost, like memories. Huh? I remember Olive Lewin starting around about 1980-81, something called the Memory Bank, where she took a team, a very small team of people, and would traverse this island of Jamaica, speaking with our senior citizens and recording what they had to say about their communities and about life in Jamaica during their lifetime. And so, yes, things can be lost. Jessica, it's your turn to be back. Yes, things can be lost. And while I'm there sitting thinking and enjoying the Marley thing, for some reason, I'm thinking about Louise Bennett, and remember her influence on Marley as well, and on Mutabaruka, and then came up here and chat foolishness. So these things can be lost. Right. But as Kwame will tell you, she had a powerful influence on Mutabaruka, Bob Marley, Linton Kwesi Johnson, and several others. Yasser Safari will be having his poetry in February 22, 23. So, Miss Jess? So, could you welcome her one more time? This country is awash with talent. And our young people, if given the chance, if encouraged and supported, they can do so much with the very many talents they have. Because they're not just concentrating on doing one thing. They can do several. Thanks again, Jessica. Any homework this evening? We were working last evening together at another function, and she couldn't stay for dinner because she said she had to go home to study. So there you go. Thanks a lot. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Linda. Linda Speth is currently director of University of the West Indies Press. She has more than 30 years' experience in scholarly book publishing and has overseen the development, production, and marketing of more than 400 scholarly books in the humanities, arts, and social sciences, and more than 200 books in scientific, technical, and medical fields. She has served as the director of 2 other university presses and has served on several international, national, and local publishing and communication boards. She is a published author and has written referred articles and books on gender studies, law, and the environment. Could we welcome her? Linda?